Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Premier League predictions. We are back for 10 more massive Premier League fixtures this weekend, and today myself and Sophie are going to preview them and predict them. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. On the last video, once again, we smashed the biggest like target ever, Sophie. So we're going to raise it one more. I don't know if we're going to do this, but with your brilliant support, we might. 1,800 likes. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. That is the biggest target ever, and it keeps getting higher and higher every time you smash it. Feel free to get involved, drop a like, and while you're there, make sure you're subscribed. The channel's been getting some great support recently. We're trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Please do make sure you've subscribed. It is free to do. Last week on Premier League predictions, I got the better of Sophie with a 7-3 win, putting me ahead for the first time in a long time in Premier League predictions.
Well done. You had a good weekend and I didn't. So.
Get it up there. Come on. There you go. Matt is in front. How long it'll stay that way, I do not know. But Matt, for now, has the better Premier League ball knowledge. Speaking of Premier League ball knowledge, do let us know your Premier League predictions over at Pooky. The first link in the description. Go down there and click it, guys. That is where you can compete with us on Pooky. Pooky is a football predictor game, and they've got leaderboards over there where you can compare your scores to ours. There's 10 Premier League games which you can get involved with, sharing your predictions for that. As well as that, they've also got other leagues for you to predict as well. Last week on Pooky, I did pretty well with my Premier League predictions. I did manage to get Burnley 1, West Ham 2 correct, and Luton Town 2, Crystal Palace 1 correct. If you click the link down in the description, it will take you to the Pooky page. Then you just need to go to English Leagues to whack in your Premier League predictions. As I say, it's free to play and you can earn in-game currency which can be extracted into real money. It's certainly worth getting involved in.
And remember, if you get all 10 predictions right, you win $10,000.
It's incredible. Like I say, you guys think you've got much better ball knowledge than us? Let us know over on Pooky. The first link in the description. With that said, Sophie, let's get into some Premier League predictions, and these games are really difficult to predict this week. We're kicking it off at the Emirates for Arsenal versus Wolves. Arsenal, Sophie, are top of the Premier League.
They are. They've been doing well.
Wow, yeah, things have gone their way recently, to be honest, haven't they? Other than the Newcastle game, of course. Arsenal have been hitting some good form, of course, and they beat Manchester City a few weeks ago. That was a crucial result, and they've been taking advantage of Manchester City dropping points and Tottenham dropping points and Liverpool dropping points to a point where it's got Arsenal at the top of the tree. Will they stay there? They take on Wolves. I really like Wolves. I really like Gary O'Neill. There's something about them this season, Sophie. They're just quite exciting to watch for a bottom half team, if that makes sense. Or they might not finish bottom half. They could get top 10 the way they're going, to be fair. Seem to be a little bit unlucky. VAR doesn't like Wolves. We saw that with the Manchester United game, and we definitely saw that with the Fulham game.
Yes.
Do you know what, Soph? I think Wolves can be in this game, but Arsenal are top of the league for a reason, and they have the best defence in the league. So I can see Arsenal maybe just getting that clean sheet, but it won't be like a battering. I'll go Arsenal 2, Wolves 0.
Yeah, I was tempted to say 2-0 as well, but I feel like Wolves might actually get a goal. I know that Arsenal, as you say, they've looked defensively very strong, but I don't know if they're going to stick with Ramsdale in goal. He's shown that he has got that mistake in him at the moment, but bless him, his confidence is low, and that tends to happen. So I'm going to say 2-1. Bit of a tighter game. Yeah, it's an interesting one, that. Do give us your predictions for Arsenal versus Wolves. Top of the league, Arsenal versus Wolves, who, like I say, we really do rate. On to the next one, Sophie. We're going to West London, where Brentford take on Luton Town. What a great result for Luton last week, Sophie. I backed them to beat Palace 2-1. You called it.
What was it? It was 2-1. Brentford, to be fair, Sophie, we both backed Arsenal to score a couple goals. They only lost 1-0, and it was in the last minute.
It was.
Really painful, that. Brentford are very,
they had some good chances, as I was just saying, with Ramsdale, and they didn't take them.
Exactly. Brentford are a very good team, especially against some of the top sides. Strong favourites for this one, I must say, at home to Luton. Now, to be honest, Luton can come here thinking, this is a free hit for us. You know, we've just won our last game. They've got, I think, a 4-point gap over the bottom three now. So Luton Town are in a pretty strong position now. The Everton points deduction has certainly helped Luton out for now. If Luton get a draw here, that would be amazing. I don't think it's impossible, but I do think the quality of Brentford might just pinch this one. I do think Luton Town have got a good chance of staying up, you know. But this game, it's not easy, to be honest. I think Brentford will go back to winning ways. I'll go Brentford 2, Luton Town 1.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 Brentford. I feel like Brentford at times against Arsenal were a little bit unlucky. They didn't take their chances. Coming up against Luton, obviously it is easier opposition, no offence to Luton at all, but it is. So I feel like they will take their chances against them. But I do feel like Luton will be in it. Obviously away from home it is going to be trickier, but Luton haven't been playing too badly. So it could be an interesting game. I am going to back the favourites though. So 2-0 Brentford. 2-0
Brentford. Yeah, share your predictions for that game down in West London. Brentford versus Luton Town. Next up, Sophie. Oh, goodness me. We're going to Turf Moor for Burnley versus Sheffield United.
Big game.
Wow, this was a championship game last year. Will it be a championship game next year? These two got top two, remember, Sophie. Burnley won the league. Sheffield United came in second. They both came up quite strong, to be honest. They would be bottom two if Everton hadn't been given a points deduction. So that's not great. Burnley are the lowest scorers in the league. Sheffield United have the worst defence in the league. So how's this one going to go? To be honest, Sophie, Burnley have lost all 7 home games. They got close to getting something against West Ham, to be fair.
They did.
So I do think I'm leaning towards them. They've got to win at home at some point, surely. As for Sheffield United, they can be really competitive, but at times they just crumble. I don't think they put up much of a fight against Bournemouth. They did score a late consolation, but it was 3-0 going into those final couple of minutes. It was a 3-1 loss in the end. I'm going to go with Burnley here, Sophie. I think these two both beat each other when they were at home last season. I remember Sheffield United beat Burnley like 5-2 at Bramall Lane. But I'm going to go Burnley. I'm going to go both teams to score. Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1.
Okay, do you know what? I feel like a draw wouldn't really benefit either team here. Probably suit Sheffield United more being away from home. However, I can see it playing out a draw, to be honest. I feel like both teams are so desperate not to lose at this point, and it's such a big game. They won't want to gift the other team 3 points. That's why I see a draw playing out. So I'm going to say 1-1.
1-1?
Yeah.
That's a difficult one, isn't it?
Safe bet.
It's a must-win, surely.
It is for both, and that's why I think a draw might play out.
Oh, God. On to the next game, Sophie. We're going to the City Ground, where Nottingham Forest take on Everton. Do you know what? I'm not 100% sure about this one. I was working out the scenarios in my head here, and I was thinking, I'm going to go Forest win. And then I thought, actually, I'm not sure about that. Nottingham Forest have only won 1 of their last 9 games. They're not losing all of them. They've drawn quite a few. But I thought they weren't particularly great against Brighton. They were good in parts of the game, but for large spells they kind of went missing. As for Everton, they come into this on the back of that 3-0 defeat at home to Manchester United. We thought, they'd get something in that game. But they do come into this on the back of 3 away wins in 4 away games. So they've been very good on the road, winning at West Ham, winning at Palace. Some good away wins. I'll be honest, Sophie, I think I'm going to go for a draw here. Forest have let me down a few times recently.
Yeah.
But Everton, I don't know if I can go all in on them. Although Forest did lose at home last week, it was only their first home defeat. I'm going to go for a Desmond. Forest 2, Everton 2.
Yeah, I won't lie, I was really tempted to sit on the fence and say a draw. But I could see this going either way. Forest did disappoint me last week, and to be honest, so did Everton. I thought that they might get a draw. Maybe I overestimated them both, to be honest. Do you know what? I'm going to say a bit of an upset. Everton get a win. 1-0.
Really?
1-0 Everton. Yeah, they can have it.
Wow, that's a big game. Do share your predictions for Nottingham Forest versus Everton. Neither of us are going for Nottingham Forest. On to the next game, Sophie. We've got Newcastle United versus Manchester United. Ooh. Oh, goodness me. This is a really difficult one. Manchester United went away to Everton and won 3-0. And to be honest, Sophie, no one really thought that would happen. Not many people anyway.
No.
Everton were strong. Well, it felt like Everton were quite strong favourites because of the points deduction, and we thought it would be a really intimidating crowd. But no, it was a fantastic job by Manchester United and Garnacho's goal.
What a goal.
Unbelievable goal. It's already been spoken about enough, but we need to give it an honourable mention. But Newcastle, Sophie, they also won by 3 goals, taking Chelsea to the cleaners in a 4-1 win.
Yes.
You backed Chelsea?
Yeah, because Newcastle have a lot of injuries, but...
Well...
Got that one wrong.
To be honest, though, if this is really difficult, this is one I've pulled my hair out trying to predict, because Manchester United come into this, like I say, in some very good form, but I do feel like when Manchester United play anyone with any substance, they get bashed. And especially going away to St James's Park, it's a difficult ground to go and get a result. They can get the crowd on side. So I was leaning towards Newcastle, and then I remembered all the times I've let the Manchester United fans down, and they've kind of proved me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm going all in on Manchester United either. Do you know what's interesting, Soph? Sometimes you've got to throw the stats out the window. Newcastle haven't drawn a home game yet this season. Manchester United haven't drawn any game yet this season. Sorry. I'm going for a draw.
Oh, wow.
2-2 again.
Do you know what? I am going to pick a winner in this one. I do see it being an entertaining game. I didn't back Man United at the weekend. They did get a 3-0 win. It was against Everton, so don't know if we'll look into that too much. And then Newcastle United, what a result against Chelsea. So being at home, I'm going to have to lean towards Magpies. 3-2.
Oh,
yeah, I can see there being goals.
That is a really good prediction. That I like that. We both think both teams will score.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an open game.
Yeah, I agree. It will be. Do share your predictions for that cracking game at Newcastle versus Manchester United. Down to the South Coast next then, Sophie, and we go to AFC Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. This is not as straightforward as you might think, to be honest, because Villa, I mean, they have been so good, and I think everyone's picking up on that, but not many people are actually picking up on the fact that Bournemouth have won 3 of their last 4 games. They're doing what
3.
Yeah, they're doing what they did last season, where they sort of picked these results up while everyone was writing them off, and then they stayed up. This is difficult. Aston Villa are so strong at home. Yes. They're 11th in the away table, but they did go away to Spurs and win last week, so that's a very good result. I think Emery's doing a fantastic job. I think, what's going to come into question this season with Villa is there going to be any kind of burnout? What is realistic for them? I think 4th place is genuinely realistic. I think the top 3 probably look, that bit further ahead.
I agree.
You've got Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal.
Yeah.
But I do think Villa have shown, especially last week, that they can be better than Tottenham.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat them. So I think they could beat them to 4th place. As for this game, I'm not all in on Villa, to be honest, because Bournemouth have been really, really hard to beat. So I'm going to go for another Desmond, 2-2 again.
I don't really back Bournemouth, but they do surprise me sometimes, and I feel a bit harsh going against Aston Villa, but as you say, they're not quite the same team away from home, so I'm going to give this one to Bournemouth. They're going to win this for me, 2-1. Great game, great win.
Do you know what? That's kind of where I was at as well, because Bournemouth, like I say, they've beaten some decent teams. Remember, they beat Newcastle at home. Villa are very good, but do you remember when they put in that performance at Forest? They lost 2-0.
Yeah.
So you don't know if they might do that, but I do like Villa, and I think they're doing very, very well. On to the next game then, Sophie. Down to West London again. Chelsea versus Brighton. This is going to guarantee goals, and probably both teams to score. Brighton have been so entertaining. Whether they win, lose or draw, there is just goals going in their net, in the opposition's net. And they did go back to winning ways at Nottingham Forest. Did you see the celebrations, by the way?
No.
De Zerbi running on the pitch. You thought they'd won the World Cup. I think they were just so desperate to get a win. Whereas Chelsea, they lost 4-1 to Newcastle after beating Spurs 4-1 and drawing 4-4 with Man City. So they are just chaos. Wherever they go, they are chaos. 29 goals in their last 6 games. That's an average of nearly 5 goals in every game, going in both directions. I'm not going to go for 5 goals, but I will go both teams to score, and I don't want to go for another Desmond, so let's pick a winner. I'm going to go with Brighton. I'm going to go with maybe the form from last week to carry on. Chelsea lost, Brighton 1. Maybe the same again. I'll go Chelsea 1, Brighton 2.
I'm going to go for a bit of a goal fest here. As you say, they're usually entertaining games with these two sides. It would be absolutely typical if a 0-0 played out now and everyone would be like, where did that come from? But I don't see it happening. I agree. I feel like Brighton might win this one, but there's going to be goals and they're going to have to work hard for it. But 3-2.
Oof.
Yeah, so it'd be a goal fest.
Yeah, it sounds like a very interesting game, to be fair. 3-2 to Brighton. Share your predictions, guys, for Chelsea versus Brighton. On to the next game then, Sophie, and we are going to Merseyside. Liverpool take on Fulham. To be fair, Fulham come into this on a very good win Monday night.
Yep.
As we said, there was lots of controversy and 3 penalties and all sorts going on, but the most important thing is 3 points for Fulham, and they've shown that they can find the back of the net without Mitrovic. You know, to score 3 goals is good to see for Fulham, because maybe that's where I'm thinking they're not as strong as last season going forwards. But to be honest, Sophie, this game is a tall order for Fulham to get anything. I think they know coming into this, a bit of a free hit. Liverpool have won 6 out of 6 at home. Mm-hmm. They don't drop points at home, and they picked up a very good away point at Manchester City last week. Good goal from Trent.
Yeah, it was a good goal.
So this one, I'm saying both teams to score again, but I think Liverpool by 2 goals. So I'm going to go Liverpool 3, Fulham 1.
Yeah, this scoreline is going to seem very harsh on Fulham, but on Liverpool's day, they just look very, very good, and they can tear teams apart. I don't see Fulham scoring, to be honest. I think the main thing for Liverpool, get a clean sheet. They look very, very strong at home, and I can see it being a dominant display. 3-0. Yeah. Well,
to be honest, that might happen though. That might happen.
Probably won't, but
yeah. Well, you never know. You never know. 2 games left, Sophie. Let's go to a London derby next, where we have got West Ham United versus Crystal Palace. I love the matchup of David Moyes versus Roy Hodgson. This is like a really old school kind of game, and it's a London derby as well. I like this matchup. Does seem to be a bit of a favourite with West Ham here. West Ham come into this on a good result last week against Burnley. It's back-to-back wins as well, because they beat Forest just before the international break. Palace, they lost at Luton. To be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if Palace can come here and snatch it, because Roy Hodgson teams can do that. Like, I don't know, 1-0 or 2-1 or something. I think it'd be close. I'm tempted to go for a draw, but I am actually going to give West Ham the win here. West Ham, paid me back last week. I gave them my trust of a 2-1 win, and they came in with a 2-1 win at Burnley. So I'm going to reward them again with another 2-1 win. I think it'll be close, but I do think West Ham, with the home advantage and just in better form, and maybe just got that little bit better quality, I'm going to sneak this. West Ham 2, Palace 1.
I was really tempted to say a West Ham win as well. However, I feel like Palace, they need to get something from this game. It's not great for them to lose to Luton, to be honest. They need to be looking to bounce back from that. But I can only see them getting a point here. I'm going to say 1-1.
Ooh, okay, interesting. Yeah. Going down the middle on that one. Okay, there's 1 game left, Sophie, and this is a cracker as we go to the Etihad, Manchester City versus Tottenham. I tell you what, if this game was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, it might have been a little bit more interesting, because Tottenham were top. They've lost 3 games in a row now, so they just, I don't know what it is. They can't.
They've got a couple out injured, haven't they? But not that many to be like, wow, that's the reason why you've had such a drop in form.
Exactly. I mean, maybe, back-to-back defeats is maybe just about acceptable, but to go from the standards they were setting to now losing 3 in a row is not great. And similar themes in every game. They seem to score first and then, throw some silly goals away. So I do think Tottenham score, but with the form going the way it is, I am going to go for Man City here. Man City need to bounce back from that, dropped points against Liverpool last week. Arsenal, if they win this week and Man City don't, then Arsenal are going to start opening up a little gap. It's not impossible Spurs could come here and all of a sudden win, because if they play the way they had been before they started losing, they were playing very well, and I think they have picked up decent points against Manchester City over the years. But let's finish on a absolute cracker, Sophie. Tottenham Hotspur's defence has left a lot to be desired, to be honest. But I do think they'll score. I'm going to go Manchester City 4, Tottenham 2. Oh
wow, God, can you imagine if that comes in? I'm going for not too dissimilar scoreline, to be honest. I do see there being goals in this. I do see Spurs getting a goal as well, but I feel like Man City have too much and they'll come out 3-1 winners for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Both going for the same deficit there. Do let us know your predictions for that one. Manchester City versus Tottenham. So then, there you have it. That is our Premier League predictions for this weekend. As I say, do make sure to share your predictions down in the comments. And do make sure to click the link in the description to share your predictions on Pooky. It's free to get involved and you can compete with us over there. Do make sure you've dropped a like. And if you want to see all of our videos when they go out, do make sure you have subscribed as well. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you on Monday for midweek Premier League predictions. Peace out.